The tool I'm going to be using is Seesaw, and although this might seem like a weird tool to be using for students in a 4th and 5th grade setting, it works for my students because they all have varying abilities. Some of my students are on the spectrum, some of my students speak English, some of them do not, and so it's just easier to have different platforms available for them. This particular cookbook I created off of Cami, which some of my other students will be using, and then I downloaded it and made it readily available on Seesaw for specific students with different abilities so that they're able to access it. The reason why I chose Seesaw for certain students is because I am able to leave written instructions, I am able to embed emojis into my instructions, and I am able to embed voiceover instructions as well for them to listen to, as well as include an example for them, which is included in the original post. And so if I go into the assignment and I click on the draft and I edit it, this is what it looks like. It works because some of my students have iPads that they are able to use their fingers because they're not able to write or type. And so for certain aspects, they'll be able to write their names. So they'll be able to draw in their name for certain parts. They can even draw over here to the side if they were doing different math problems. They can also go over here and use the typing and type on the computer if they're able to. And they can also use the voiceover where they can explain what they did, and they can also insert a picture, which is important for different students to be able to explain their work. So if we go to the next page, it's asking the recipe, ingredients, and the math and the ingredients for the class of 24. And so students are going to either, well, for the Cami example, they were going to be typing it all in or writing using their Apple Pencil off of their iPads. So for this example, the student is going to most likely be, again, writing it in using their fingers. So the recipe could be for cookies. So they would click the writing tool and they might write in cookies. And then here they would write in the ingredients. So maybe they use 4 cups of flour. I'm just making up ingredients right now. And so on. And this could be for a batch of, let's say, 12 cookies. They might need to make it for 24, and then they can either write in the math down below, or they can show it through a picture. For students who are doing it with a picture, I am having most of them do a voiceover if possible. Again, it's going to depend on my student and whether or not they have that ability to relay the information using a voiceover. Other students might just do it in person to me and have them say what they did in person. Then the students are going to, how did you change the original recipe to make enough for the class? Again, I have a printout version of this as well for students. On the Cami version, the students are able to type on the line, or they're able to handwrite with their Apple Pencil from their iPads. On here, they're able to, again, either text, use their fingers to write in, they can do a voiceover, they can insert a picture. It's up to them, their personal preference. I am also including a printout version for them as well. It just depends on my student and what they need. And so they are on this page are going to insert a picture. And so on this page, the student is either going to draw the picture. They have many different marker types. They can draw using this, one of these markers. There's many different things that they can do. They can also insert a picture. Either they can upload it, they can use a video, photo. They can change the background. They can link it to the web. There's many different things that this tool allows for, which is why I like it so much. It also allows for them to add pages in. So, for example, if they are doing the page where they're showing their math work and the particular student wants to use their finger to write it in, and they want to use their iPad or their Chromebook to do it, and they don't have enough room, they can add in a page at the bottom over here to their page so that it's in between this page and how they change the recipe, and they can just show the math that way by adding in a page. The students are going to add in three different recipes and show how they altered it. So maybe it was like 2 cups of flour, 2 cups of sugar, and then like 1/3 of baking soda, because that would be something that is a fraction. I didn't include the fraction. And then they'd have to alter it for a class of 24 and show how they would alter it. So that's the tool I'm using. It's something I really enjoy. The students usually enjoy it who need the different modifications, because it's very similar to Google Classroom, where they're able to interact with it online, but then they also have modifications for their own personal needs, whether it be able to draw, able to insert pictures, voiceover, create a video of themselves showing it. Some of my students will end up doing that as well, have a whiteboard and show it on a whiteboard to me. It depends on personal preference for a teacher as well. If you have the time to sit there and watch your student explain a video to you, it is a great tool, but it does take time, and my students do really enjoy this tool. Not all districts, though, allow for it for the older students, since it is primarily a K-1-2 tool. However, if your students have varying abilities, since it does have the aspects of the text, the microphone, and the camera, some school districts will allow for it. So it really just depends on your administration. But I hope you like this tool. And if there are any questions about it, please feel free to ask.